Alright guys, so at this point you've joined LPT Academy and you're getting to know, how it all works, looking at the training, and you're probably wondering, well, what equipment do I need? How can I prepare for these workouts, whether you're following the micro workouts or the 6-week training plans? Well, the good news is we keep it dead simple. So if you just have a look at the 3 types of equipment we've got just here, I'm going to go through in a second. This is one of the reasons we actually created LPT Academy. Okay, in the first year when we actually started our first ever 6-week transformation program, this is pretty much all we used with our clients in our in-house training facilities, and we achieved over 300 stone in weight loss. So the thing to understand is you don't need all of this fancy equipment. Okay, you can get amazing results just with these 3 things. Number 1, so this is what we get our clients in our in-house facilities to use before they start. So this is before you follow the warm-up training video that we've shot for you. This is for tissue care. So tissue care meaning your muscle tissue. Okay, so if you're regularly training, you are going to be regularly working your muscles, meaning more activation. Okay, meaning you need to help them release and recover. Okay, so we can use the foam roller. We'll be shooting some separate videos that will go a bit deeper into how to use that, but just as a real starting point, focusing on the big muscle groups, particularly the fronts and the backs of the legs. I often find for a lot of people, their calves and the lower legs are the areas of tightness. Okay, and in terms of using it, it literally is a case of plonking your leg on the foam roller. Okay, you can start with both legs if you want. Okay, so I have pretty tight calves at the moment, so I can already feel that. Okay, now big mistake I see with people in gyms is they do these massive big rolls back and forward. Okay, have you ever been to a physio or had a deep tissue massage where you've got the physio going up and down? No, they'll work in one specific area and they'll go deep in that area. So that's what we're going to do with a foam roller, is if you find an area that's kind of tight, okay, and it's a little bit sore, like I can feel my calves sore, I'm going to really go to town on that area. So I'm going to do some little rolls from side to side, okay, I'm going to do little rolls from backwards and forwards, and then slowly I'm going to work my way up the legs. Okay, now we can go up into the glutes. So if you are hitting one of our lower body days, okay, lower hip days, you can put all your weight onto one of the glutes and you can get really nice and deeply into there. Okay, on a separate training video we will show you how you can use trigger point massage balls. In terms of your back, if you are going to work your back, we recommend going from the middle of the back upwards. Okay, your lumbar spine doesn't really like too much pressure, so starting around here upwards, oh that's good, okay, is really nice. Okay, you can actually go all the way into the neck area as well. So that's your first bit of equipment. That will release any tightnesses in your body before you start. And I've just done like what? A minute there and I already feel kind of looser. So definitely invest in a foam roller. Okay? Secondly, in terms of loading, okay, kettlebell. The kettlebell is one of the most versatile pieces of equipment that you can buy. Okay? Now, and there's just so many exercises that we can do with it. One of the big benefits is we can do a combination of an aerobic, so cardiovascular, and anaerobic, so resistance and load-based training. So we can really get that hybrid, okay? Whereas your typical gym machines and your barbells and your dumbbells tend to be a little bit more restricted to just resistance-based training, okay? So obviously we can do all like our kettlebell swings that you may have already seen. We can do our rows, we can do our presses. So in terms of the kettlebell, you don't need to go out and buy loads of kettlebells. My recommendation as a standard for most ladies is to start between 8 and 12. Okay, generally it is a good idea to have a lighter kettlebell if you can afford it, and a heavier one. The reason for that is you're going to be working smaller muscle groups and larger muscle groups. So, for larger muscle groups, you can go heavier. So you can go, for some ladies, you can go up to a 16 even, and then you can hit things like the swing, okay? But if we're going to be hitting things like a shoulder press, then this is where having more like a 6 or an 8 is going to be more beneficial for you, okay? So that'd be my one recommendation, is to have a smaller version and a larger version. As you get stronger, stick them on eBay and then upgrade to a slightly heavier one. For any guys watching this, your range would be more like 16 to 24. Okay, so that would be the kettlebell. You can get these from any good kind of fitness store, Amazon, that kind of thing. And then lastly, we've got the power bands. So the power bands, I mean, as you probably already worked out, we do a lot of body weight work. Okay, so a lot of the exercises that we do is just moving your body weight. But obviously, as you get progressively stronger and fitter, your body weight, as you lose your body weight, that becomes easier to push against. So if you're doing a squat, after 3 or 4 months of doing that, that's going to become too easy. This is where the power bands and kettlebells can make life a lot better for your training, because for the example of a squat, we can simply add resistance. So we can stand on the band, okay, we can lift the band up, okay, and there we go. Straight away, we're adding resistance to that squat. Now, why use that rather than that? Well, we work with a lot of people that are on the go. A lot of our clients are business people, so being able to stick one of these in your bag is going to be a lot easier than one of these heavy kettlebells. Okay, so particularly if you're going on holiday, these are so versatile, you can use them for anything. Other key exercises that we use the power bands for are, again, things that we can use the kettlebell for usually, but just again, the power band, so like a deadlift. So here's an example of a deadlift, standing up tall, engaging those glutes, and that back down again. Okay, now, just the same as the kettlebell, it is useful to have different variations of strength. So the colour of the band will dictate how strong the bands are. So the ones we've got here, there is one up from the green. Okay, there's a blue, sorry. But generally, for most people, the green band is the heaviest band that you'll want to use, and then down from there will be the purple. Okay, so if you're doing things like deadlifts and rows, where we're hitting the larger muscle groups in the body, then these are good choices. Okay, if we're hitting the smaller muscle groups, so if we're doing things like overhead shoulder presses or bicep curls, then the black and the red bands are a better choice. So an example of that would be, so a bicep curl would be that, or a shoulder press would be that. Okay, now try doing that with the green band. Okay, you're going to find it a lot harder. So all in all, we're probably talking around about about 20 to 30 quid for the power bands that you need. Okay, you're probably talking anywhere between about 10 to 20 pound for your kettlebell, and around about 10 to 15 pound for your foam roller. Don't have to buy them all at once. Okay, but great investment, and certainly will help you get the best out of LPT Academy.